Good morning, everyone. What is going on? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And let me address the elephant in the room. I know you guys can probably hear some banging all around me right now. We are getting our roof repaired. I was thinking about delaying the video, but then I realized that today's the trade deadline. That's going to be fun. So we definitely want to do that around like 4:30. And that and these guys will be here until about 4 o'clock. So I figured, it is what it is. I'll make this one quicker than normal today. So, of course, we have our standings, and this is week 6 for the record. Last week I said it was week 6, that was week 5, this is week 6. So, this is the AL and NL West, respectively. I'm not going to read off each team, but I will do the quick bullet points on each team. So, Oakland, they're sitting in first place in the AL West. They're looking like legit contenders. That offense is looking so good. The pitching staff is looking decent. They're probably, as of this moment, the favorites in the AL, if I had to say so. Houston's right behind them. Houston missed a couple games due to the hurricane that just went through their area, so we'll see what happens with that. But Houston has been performing a little better, despite the fact that Bregman is on the injured list. Seattle, they finally made a move at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline, trading away a pitcher. We'll get to that later today. They're just not looking good. Texas, same thing, not looking good at all. Just nothing positive to say about that. These teams, LA Angels, one of the biggest disappointments in the league, just really not looking good. Everyone on that team, hold Mike Trout, is really just blowing it. NL West, you got to have your World Series favorites in the LA Dodgers. So if you're an LA fan, at least you got the Dodgers. Dodgers are just looking so good. That offense is elite. The pitching staff is doing good, despite the fact that Walker Buehler is on the injured list now. San Diego, they definitely look primed to end that postseason drought that's been plaguing them for a long time. And I think Fernando Tatis Jr. has more than proven himself as a capable star in the majors. Of course, this is a sophomore year. It's a shortened season. Injuries are still a concern. So he's still going to have a lot of question marks going into year 3, but I did want to mention Tatis has looked very good, and he's not alone. Everyone on that team's producing. If it weren't for the Dodgers, I think a lot of people would be talking about the Padres as a World Series contender at least. Colorado is a 500 ball club. That's expected. Blackman's scorching hot 500 average start is cooled down. He's sitting like 370 or something. San Francisco's doing decent, but nothing amazing about San Francisco. They do have Yastrzemski. He's leading their team in a couple categories. It wouldn't be a shock to see him get traded at the trade deadline. In Arizona, last place. Again, Arizona is just not in a good position. If you're the Diamondbacks, I don't know why you... I'm not going to go on a rant about Diamondbacks here, but they're a good team at times. But the offense, hold the Martes, is awful. We'll go to the AL Central, and the Chicago White Sox and the Cleveland team are tied for first place. So I put Chicago first because they are the hotter team right now, and they have the better plus-minus differential. So basically, Chicago, of course, I have to mention Lucas Giolito throwing a no-hitter, one walk away from a perfecto. Always fun to see those, and it was definitely a good game. That's really all I gotta say about it. It was against the Pirates, but you gotta remember the Pirates had finally been heating up, and Cleveland, the pitching staff is there, but the offense is not. The offense is slowly catching up. Now, the real question about the Cleveland team is, what are they going to do at the trade deadline? People are calling about Clevenger. People are calling about Plesac. Will they trade either one? We'll see. Minnesota's been cold lately. They actually just got swept in a 3-game series by Detroit. Detroit needed that. Minnesota did not need to get swept. Minnesota finally is going to get Donaldson back soon. He's been out for about a month at this point because he got hurt in early August. So they need him back. He's a good veteran leader for a team that already has some veterans, but still. And the pitching staff, Michael Pinada's coming back finally for them from his suspension. So that's a big plus. Detroit, like I said, 500 ball club, just swept Minnesota. Detroit's a very streaky team. We saw them start off the season red hot. Now they're hitting another hot stride. Or is it just Minnesota being cold? Detroit has a bright future, but right now, no. Kansas City in last place. That's not surprising. Kansas City, they need a pitching staff, and a lot of their guys on offense are doing okay, but not decent, not good enough. NL Central, Chicago Cubbies sitting in first place. Only team in this division above 500. Yeah, that's not good. This division's kind of weak, but the Cubs seem to have a firm hold on it, which is, like I said before, they were supposed to be in a quote-unquote rebuilding year this year. Not bad for a rebuilding team. St. Louis is right behind them. Now, I will say, some teams have really been affected by the whole coronavirus thing. So St. Louis is one of them. They've had to play a lot of doubled headers, and that takes a lot out of your club. So, yes, they are 12 and 13, but they are a better club than 12 and 13. Milwaukee's behind them, and Milwaukee's been a little bit of a disappointment, but at the same time, they have some faults they have to address, and they can do that soon, I hope. Cincinnati's sitting a half game behind them. Cincinnati's a real disappointment this year. Joey Votto's been struggling heavily, and just a lot of guys on this team have not been producing as you'd hoped. Trevor Bauer is probably their brightest spot, so there's that. At least you got Bauer. And last but not least, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates in this division, and Pittsburgh's just a complete mess at this point. There's nothing good in Pittsburgh really to look forward to, other than the fact that Chris Archer's contract's off your salary at the end of this year. You can decline him, get rid of him, make him a free agent. You got to pay him some money, but just got to point that out there. Chris Archer, one of my least favorite players in the league, he's gone, so congratulations, Pittsburgh. AL East, of course, first place, Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay is my second AL favorite with Oakland. They've just been so good. They have a well-constructed roster. They look very sharp. The offense is there. The pitching staff is slowly getting back into form, so that's good. Yankees are behind them now. Yankees are definitely a top team, too, but due to injuries, the Yankees are screwed right now. Of course, we know Judge and Stanton are hurt. Those were expected. Again, they always get hurt. LeMahieu's out. Well, he just came back, actually. Gleyber Torres is hurt. So that's a huge portion right there of your team. Yeah, Toronto is above 500 right now. This is an interesting team. Again, like Detroit, they're a young team. They're a talented team. Toronto's probably more talented than Detroit at this point in time. Keep in mind, Bo Bichette is still out. He has not played for a while. But Toronto seems to be rebounding without him. I don't know if people are going to say, okay, Bo needs to go or what, but it's interesting. Baltimore's cooled off dramatically. They were red hot at the start of the season. Now they're 14 and 19. Baltimore, young, talented team. The offense is there. The pitching is playing above their heads. We'll see what happens with Baltimore. We'll have more to talk about them at the trade deadline. Boston sitting in dead last. Boston, we knew it was going to be a tough year for the Red Sox, but I didn't think they were going to be this bad. I didn't think they were going to be behind Baltimore, for example. And last but not least, the NL East. Now, Atlanta sits in first place. Atlanta has been dealing with injuries to their outfield. Markakis, as we know, opted out. Then he came back. Then he got exposed, so he went on the injured list for a little bit, and then he came back. But more importantly for them, of course, is Acuna. Now, Acuna, he had the hamstring injury. He missed a week and a half, 2 weeks. And now, again, in last night's game against the Phillies, Sunday night's game against the Phillies, he felt tightness in his hamstring. So they're saying, hopefully he'll be back today, Monday. But we don't know. So hamstring injuries are always fickle and hard to predict. So hopefully for Atlanta, he's back. Hopefully for the rest of us, he's not. Philadelphia and Miami are tied for second. Now, Philadelphia, I have them ahead of Miami because they have a better plus-minus differential. And the Phillies' offense is finally coming to life. They did, other than last night's loss against the Braves, they were on a winning streak, a 5-game winning streak. Yeah, it wasn't against the hottest teams in the league, but the fact of the matter is you take out the Nationals and you take 2 or 3 from the Braves. That gives you some confidence. And then they put up 10 runs against the Braves yesterday. The Braves put up 12. So that was a good Sunday night baseball game. I'm going to tell you that right now. Miami, again, right around 500. Not bad team, but they still have some work to do. So as you can tell, the Phillies and the Marlins, they're going to do worse than this because they have all these games to catch up on. So they're going to be playing a lot of doubleheaders soon. The Mets, 15 and 19. Mets are really cold. Our Mets are just really struggling right now. They have to get their stuff together. They need some pitching help. They need a lot of help all over the place. They need Pete Alonso to truly wake up and bring back the homers. But in Washington, again, like the Angels, big surprise, really struggling. Hopefully the Nationals can get their act together. But it's just, I don't know what's going on with the Nationals. Of course, we know Strasburg's out for the year. But other than Strasburg, everyone's basically there. And Rendon, who walked, everyone's basically still in Washington. So, yeah, that is the standings. So this is the East. The nice standings for the East. And this is the Central. I already showed the West at the beginning of the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I do apologize for the banging around me. Have a great rest of your day.